And we welcome you live to the Dennis O. Martin Memorial Field here at Bloomington High School, North Bloomington, Indiana, where it's week number 6 of the high school football season as the visiting New Albany Bulldogs are in town to take on the Bloomington North Cougars. Glad you could join us for North Cougar football on Smithville TV. Alongside Quinn Saturday, I am Nick Jenkinson. And Quinn, while we were familiar with New Albany and boys basketball, it has been a while since these two teams have met on the gridiron.
Yeah, the last time that these two teams faced was all the way back in the early 1980s, so it's been quite a long time since they've faced each other, and it's going to be a good one because we got some really good players in this one.
Good players on both sides as you look at the Cougar band. New Albany got here a little bit late, so kickoff is still about 10 minutes away. Just a little bit of a delayed start, so kind of an extended pregame for both of us. But looking at New Albany, they come in 3-2. They beat Providence 35-12, Castle 27-20, at Jennings County 55-17. Lost to Bedford North Lawrence 41-40, and then lost to a very good Columbus East team 20-19. So while the Bulldogs have put up have had two tough losses in the last 2 weeks, they average 35.2 points a game.
Oh yeah, it is a very high-powered offense by we throw around big three quite a lot, and sometimes, you try to shoehorn in another person or, downgrade a person, but it really is a big three for the Bulldogs. It all starts with their senior quarterback, Dylan Clark, thrown for 858 yards this season, 10 touchdowns. He's also run for 91 yards as well, so he's a bit of a dual threat, but he's going to be most comfortable passing the ball. His favorite target, another fellow senior, Devin Gummer, 25 catches, 486 yards, and 7 of those 10 touchdowns. But probably the most important one, but the one that has probably got our eye the most, is the sophomore, the only non-senior of that big three, Austin Opal.
Austin Opal is a big. We're gonna hear his name a lot. We're gonna call his name a lot. 123 carries, 763 yards, 10 touchdowns, the longest run of the season. 75 yards. He's had 4 times where he's gone over 100 plus. He averages 152.6 yards a game. And of course, Bloomington North no stranger to dealing with tough running backs. We've seen it the last several years with several different guys where Bloomington North has a tough time of stopping the run. But of course, one thing that we saw in that Terre Haute South game a few weeks ago is how on third they can get out of third downs with some stops.
Yeah, the defense has greatly improved for Bloomington North, and that continued defensive improvement has continued throughout the season. Despite being 1-4, Bloomington North still playing a lot better this season than they have in the last few seasons. Another player to watch out for New Albany, Colin Sutton. He's a junior receiver. He is the second receiver, so when Gummer is covered or being used as a decoy, Sutton has 136 yards on 10 catches and 2 touchdowns, and he can also be used in the wide receiver reverse, as he's got 9 carries for 146 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, so a myriad of weapons for New Albany. Coached by Steve Cooley, he's 8-7 in his second year at the school, 130 and 122 overall. He's coached at Harding, which is now closed up in Fort Wayne, won a sectional and regional there in 1995. Coached at Jeffersonville from 2002 to 2009, and then coached at Clarksville from 2010 to 2016. So looking at Bloomington North 1-4, they started with a 31-15 win over Greenwood, but lost to Bedford North Lawrence. Then that overtime loss against Terre Haute South. Then Bloomington South 32-20. Then last week against Terre Haute North 24-6, where they really struggled against Terre Haute North. Quinn, just 107 yards of offense, and the only score was Reese Lozano to Nathan Jenkins late in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and a lot of that has to do with the injuries that happened during that game as well, and that are continuing over into this game. For one thing, Xavier Trueblood is going to be out for this game with a concussion, and Aaron Steinfeld, as we mentioned, kind of developing a repertoire with Lozano, the sophomore receiver and the freshman quarterback, for a connection for years to come. That progress is going to be halted for a little bit. He did hurt his collarbone, so he's going to be out for quite a while. So that means that a lot of pressure is going to be placed on receivers Nathan Jenkins and Cade Loftman to have to pick up the slack.
Jenkins coming into tonight, 14 catches, 198 yards, 4 touchdowns. Loftman coming in with 14 catches, 104 yards, yet to have a touchdown. What they're missing in Steinfeld, 11 catches, 123 yards, 1 TD, and as we mentioned, a big body as that tight end, as a tight end. Ben Heitink is another guy that we haven't talked about yet, Quinn. 49 carries, 374 yards, and 4 touchdowns. He had 3 of those against Bedford North Lawrence, 1 against Greenwood, his 2 100-yard games, 69 yards against Terre Haute South. But in the last 2 games, 9 carries for just 8 yards.
Yeah, it's kind of fallen off a cliff in the last couple of weeks, and it's going to be very important that he's able to regain his form from the first couple of games, especially with with the receiving game having those 2 big injuries. He's definitely going to need to get Heitink the ball and make sure he's able to get things going. Also, as we want to mention, Reese Lozano, despite the offensive struggles, has continued to improve and show a lot of promise here in his freshman season.
He's got 3 games where he's thrown 2 touchdowns. They came against Terre Haute South, Bedford North Lawrence, and Bloomington South. 167 yards against Bedford North Lawrence, 146 against Terre Haute South, and 137 against Bloomington South. 99 last week, 11 for 12 for 99 yards against Terre Haute North, 1 TD, no interceptions. So very efficient quarterback, and he's getting better with every game. Ben Friel hurt his foot in the offseason, has been out. Basically, Friel is now back to kick for the Cougars, but he has not. But it is Lozano's job to stay at this point. He also had 89 yards against Greenwood. So, I mean, he's had 7 TDs to 3 interceptions, 50% of his passes completed. I mean, he's had as good of a freshman year as you can expect from this young man.
And continue to hope that he continues to improve as well. And like I said, he's going to need to rely heavily on Jenkins and on Loftman in this game, and to hope that Heitink is able to get back to his early season form.
As you see, we still have about 3:20 on the clock. The North Band is out on the field getting ready to perform the anthem, as it's a beautiful night here for football. Quinn, temperatures were in the 80s today. There was a threat of rain, but it has not happened. And we are going to have a good night here in South Central Indiana for football. Also homecoming for Bloomington North, as you see the crowd in the stands. Of course, we want to welcome back all the alumni from Bloomington North. I did see Kylie Jarrett, who was an Indiana All-Star back in the 2000s, played for Ball State University. She was on the team at Ball State that beat the University of Tennessee in the NCAA tournament in the first round, upset the Lady Volunteers. So glad to see Kylie here. She's a Bloomington police officer now, so that's a girl you don't want to mess with if you're ever, stopped. She's a tough one. As you see the Bloomington North Cougars coming out on the field, of course, battling some injuries as well. The gold helmets, the maroon number on the helmets, kind of the Arizona State helmet look with the gold numbers and letters. New Albany, the red pants, the black helmets, and I think it's red, the white jerseys with the red numbers and letters. So we are getting set here for football. As
we did want to also mention that while this game is going on, our other team that we cover, the Edgewood Mustangs, are going to be in a tight battle with Indian Creek tonight.
Yeah, Edgewood plays Indian Creek tonight. That is a huge game in the WIC East Division. Both teams are undefeated, along with Cascade coming in division. And it's going to all sort itself out because Edgewood plays Indian Creek tonight, then Cascade plays Indian Creek next week, and then 2 weeks from tonight we'll be over at Edgewood as Cascade plays Edgewood. So by the time we get to that game in 2 weeks, we'll know where Edgewood's at in terms of playing for that crossover, who will be playing for that crossover championship in the Western Indiana Conference. The Mustangs are victorious last week over South Putnam 40-16 as they beat South Putnam. Levon Bellamy, 11 carries, 99 yards, 1 TD. Skylar Curtis, 6 for 8, 210 yards, 3 touchdowns, a rushing touchdown, no interceptions. As I mentioned to you, Quinn, before the telecast, every touchdown last week was 40 yards or more. I mean, Edgewood, we saw it against Owen Valley a couple weeks ago, how Edgewood just scored on big plays after big plays after big plays, and David Brown also had an interception return. So that will be a big game here in a couple weeks, Edgewood and Cascade. But right now we are getting ready for Bloomington North and New Albany as Bloomington North's starters are getting introduced. There is Trey Candelaria, number 23. Charlie Bless, the son of Scott Bless, the head coach, and the backup quarterback. And there is Ben Friel, who has come back from a foot injury, but Friel basically has resulted in the kicking role. As you see, Cade Loffman, he'll have to step up tonight. Where's number 5? Sam Rosinski, number 1, a JV basketball player. And also another JV basketball player, Michael Barron, wears number 27. This is Barron's first year playing football as well. So he's done a very nice job in relishing the role that he has been given playing football. So there is the, as we are getting ready here for the national anthem with the Bloomington North Pep Band. And there is the national anthem by the Bloomington North Pep Band under the direction of Janice Stockhouse, longtime director for the Cougars. Scott Bless, the head coach for Bloomington North, 57-89, 14 years overall, 72 and 119 in 19 years. He's won 2 sectionals, 2010 and 2013 Class 5A, and won the regional in 2010 as well for the Cougars. Bloomington North comes in averaging 23.2 points a game offensively. They give up 30.8 defensively. So this is going to be, I think, a high-scoring affair between these two teams, Quinn.
Yeah, and definitely a change of pace from last week for the Cougars, who are stuck in a more of a defensive battle right here. be able to air it out a little bit more.
Yeah, last week they lost 24-6 to Terre Haute North, and I know that's a long week for them, but hopefully they will bounce back here tonight on homecoming. Beautiful night for football. Glad you could join us. Week 6, hard to believe, Quinn, that we've only got, 9 weeks in the regular season here in Indiana. Then the state tournament starts. It's, as always, we talk about it every year, it just flies by.
Yeah, it literally feels like we are just starting to get into mid-season form when we're already getting close to the race for the playoffs.
As you see the teams out on the field, the captains out on the field. And we're getting ready for the coin toss.
But with a different coach as well. The New Albany coach,
as there are both.
He's 8-7 in his second year.
There are the captains getting ready to meet. Looks like North won the toss and deferred to the second half, and New Albany will receive. So as we get ready here to start for this game, of course we have the new lighting system here at Bloomington North where the lights are more eyed toward the field and not the stands. As you see, a good crowd on hand tonight, a beautiful night for football here at Bloomington North. Again, homecoming 2018. And Bloomington North will kick off as looks like Ben Friel will kick this off.
Beautiful night here for football. We were worried about a little rain in the forecast earlier today. That is,
and we are going to get
south of us and not hit the Bloomington area.
Underway shortly. Like I said, just a little bit of a delay because New Albany got here a little bit later in this game. So just about a 15-minute delay.
Ready to put the foot behind it.
And Friel puts it under, then this will be taken by the Bulldogs. And a nice stuff for New Albany.
And
that was Austin Opal, number 3 for New Albany.
as we mentioned, the offense for New Albany is going to consists of the big three of Dylan Clark at quarterback, running back Austin Opal, and wide receiver Devin Gummer.
Dylan Clark in the shotgun, and this will be Austin Opal. And Opal, the sophomore, 5'8", 181, gets a good gain. Caleb McCoy with the stop.
Right on the 30-yard line, gain of 7.
So
second down and 3 for New Albany.
Gain of 7 for Opal. Second down and 3 at the 30.
With the quarterback, Clark.
Shotgun with 3 receivers. Man in motion.
On the end around.
And this is going to be Clark going to throw downfield, and it's going to be overthrown, intended for Malachi Peters.
Looks like looked like he was going to be just a straight play action, just throw over the middle, but looked like he might have gotten jammed on the way there, so a little timing was off. Excellent job by the defense to react.
So here's what we talked about, Quinn, the third down stops for Bloomington North, their first opportunity of this game to get the big stop. Clark shotgun, 3 receivers, 2 at the top. It's going to go to Opal, and he's going to get to about near the 40-yard line, and he gets the first down. So Opal gets the first down, and they move the chains.
He did a good job diving for the first down to make sure that the ball was able to just get over the first down yard line.
2 carries for 11 yards so far for Opal. And it will be Opal, and he gets near the 40-yard line.
One official has him at the 39, the other at the 40. Called the 40 to
again, this is what we were talking about earlier, Quinn, in this earlier before we went on the air about that they were going to call Austin Opal's name quite a bit.
doing a great job of making sure that they're not predictable to one side or the other. They have run to both sides.
And it's going to fake the handoff, and they're going to give it right to Opal up the middle, and he's going to get another first down as they fake that handoff to Colin Sutton.
Yep, as I said, Sutton is a dual threat in terms of receiving and running the ball. He actually, as a receiver, he actually has more running yards than he does receiving yards.
And they called a penalty on New Albany.
I didn't see the flag. I didn't see the call. But we're going back to the 30-yard line, so it's a loss of 10. I'm going to assume a hold based on that. But
so they're going to call New Albany for the holding.
So it's replay that down. Second down and about 20 now. No, about 14, I'm sorry.
So there is the Opal reverse. This is number 9, Colin Sutton, and he's going to get to the outside, and he's going to get the first down yardage and get knocked out of bounds at the 45.
And it's like the penalty didn't even matter. As I mentioned, Colin Sutton, the receiver, has more receiving yards, running yards, 146 to receiving yards of 136. He also has a 74-yard run on the season, so he is very dangerous.
There goes Austin Opal, and he's going to get the first down.
13-yard run on that last play. That was Opal that time.
So there is the.
Was Opal as well.
There is the.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. On the 13-yarder, it was.
So we're now first and 10 at the 45.
Number 9. Here's
Clark.
The snap now, first and 10.
This will be Opal, but he gets stuffed right at in the backfield.
Yeah, it looked like the guards were not able to get off the snap fast enough, and the defensive tackles just went in and was able to meet Opal in the backfield.
Loss of 2, brings up a second and 12 at the 43.
Loss of 2 on that run.
And we have seen just one throw so far from Dylan Clark. 3 receivers. And it's going to be a play action, going to roll. He's going to throw it on the run. It's just going to fly it out, throw it out of bounds.
And a lot of credit has to go to the Cougar defense because that's now over 2 in passing, and they have been really good at containing the pass.
Clark has completed 60% of his passes on the season, 10 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. Longest pass play was 81 yards.
Take their opportunities, maybe not necessarily
3rd and 12.
Huddle, but check the sideline, get the call, and come in. Dylan Clark shotgun.
So Clark in the shotgun, Opal backfield.
2 receivers to the right, 1 split back in the tight end spot.
Clark's going to roll. He's going to throw it, and it is
caught. Did he keep his feet in bounds, keep control? He did.
And that is complete.
13-yard gain inside.
Nice pass. Complete to number 13. That is Malachi Peters. So the first completion tonight for Dylan Clark.
Peters on the year, 6 catches for 112 yards and a touchdown.
And here is Austin Opal, and he gets past the 40-yard line.
But knew exactly that first down marker.
Looks like Bloomington North or New Albany went a little bit up tempo there as he gets down to the 39.
6-yard gain that time from Opal, and now New Albany does pick up the pace a little bit.
So gain of 5.
39-yard line.
This is Opal, and he just goes right up that middle. Near the first down marker, don't think he gets it there. And it will be to the 36.
Basically had to squeeze through a little tiny hole.
So gain of 3 for Opal.
Inside Bloomington North territory.
Clark shotgun, trips at the bottom of the screen. Here is Clark going back to pass. Going to fire it, low pass, and that was intended for Turner Jones, the 5'10", 140-pound, 42-pound junior, incomplete.
And that's going to be 4th and 2 now. It'll be interesting to see. I'm guessing they're going to go for it here.
out wide. So
Been a long drive so far for
couple guys that
New
get
Albany,
most receptions, the majority of the rushes
and a lot of it's been
so far
Austin
this half
Opal.
Fourth
They are
and
going to
2
go
now
for
New
it.
Albany. That time again was intended for
Clark backfield,
one of those outliers from the wideout
and
position.
he's just going to
Short
throw a
pass,
quick
incomplete.
pass,
Bloomington North come
incomplete,
after it.
and
As
that was
Clark had to get
intended
rid of it
for
earlier than
Caden
what he
Calloway,
wanted to. Pass was
a
intended for
sophomore,
Caden
number
Calloway.
16.
It'll be incomplete.
And there was a bit of a
Turnover on
blitz
downs.
there
Big
from
fourth down
Bloomington
takeaway
North
for Bloomington North.
that kind of forced Clark to have to throw it a little bit sooner, and thus his target hadn't actually done his full rotation around to look for the ball, and thus out of position, incomplete pass, and Bloomington North off to a great start with that huge stop.
Just stopped a 14-play drive. The Cougar defense, 13-play drive with that penalty.
And took off.
So here is Reese Lozano, the freshman.
Weren't able to get anything out of
First
it.
and
Here's
10,
a quick
and
slant
that was a
throw.
quick
And
slant throw
receiver,
intended for Jack Recker.
Never looking for the ball that time.
Yeah, the receiver was not on the page right there with the quarterback as he didn't even turn around yet.
So a second and 10
So
at the
Bloomington North will
36.
from the huddle, 7:54 to go here first quarter. No scores. The
Big
Cougars get their
stop
first
for
possession
Bloomington North
of
there,
the ball game,
stopping
coming
that
out wide.
13-play
It is Gabe
drive
Hoffman. Another receiver out
of
wide to
New
the
Albany.
left. Full
Lozano
backfield
shotgun, two in the back,
Reese Lozano.
3 receivers,
There's a man
Jenkins in
That's
motion,
Nathan Jenkins
and here comes
on the end
Jenkins
around.
trying to get to the edge,
And
and he
just
gets
barely able
just
to
a
turn
gain
the
of a
corner,
couple.
get back to the line of
56,
scrimmage,
Gavin
gain a
Perkins
yard
with the stop for New Albany.
Tackle made by
Yeah,
number
there just wasn't
56,
much blocking
I'm sorry, Gavin Perkins.
for him in front of him, just a bunch of white jerseys around him, able to get a yard, but that's it.
Gain of 1 for Jenkins. 3rd and 9.
Two receivers go wide to the left for Bloomington North. One receiver to the right. Lozano
Lozano.
has Heitzing in the backfield with him, split to his right.
And here's the
Snap by
blitz,
Lozano.
and he
Just
gets
unchecked
sacked,
blocker comes in
and
to
that's
get him.
55.
What was that, number
Corn
55?
Givens
Corin
with the
Givens on
stop
the sack.
on the sack.
Gibbons started out.
And a very safe and smart decision by Lozano to just take the sack instead of having to force it up. At that point right there at 3rd and 9, pretty far in your own territory, best to just take the sack and then punt the ball over into the other territory. You don't want to throw an interception and give them better field position.
Dangerous punter.
Devin Gummer, one of the returners back for New Albany.
I think it was number 6, Devin Gummer.
And there is Friel's kick, and it is Opal back there. Nice kick by Friel, takes a bounce, and it will be down about the 32-yard line.
As I mentioned, instead of possibly throwing an interception and giving them the ball right back at the 40-yard line of the Cougars, they're able to push them back over to the 33
Ball will be now at the New Albany
or 32 of the Bulldogs.
Nice job.
So a good
Field back gives New Albany good field
So a-
position, but could have been a lot worse.
So a good stop for New Albany as they will come back on the field with Dylan Clark leading this offense. We've seen a lot of Austin Opal so far. Clark just 1 for 5 passing in the game for the Bulldogs.
Albany brings the quarterback out.
1st and 10 at the 32.
And shotgun.
And this will
Gives it
be
off to
Opal with the
hit in
handoff, and
backfield.
he gets hit in the backfield.
Number 22, Garrett Bruce. Getting
Garrett
an initial
Bruce with the
tackle.
stop.
Bruce, the linebacker, moved to defensive end a couple of weeks ago. Gives them some
With for
extra
Bloomington
speed on
North,
that
and that
line.
puts
Works that
Opal
time.
back
Comes in, gets the
with
initial
a
hit.
loss of 3, puts him at the 29.
Just the wrong, the option just chose the wrong end of the option play.
3 receivers.
13 from their 29.
And this
Here's
will
the
be
handoff
the
on
handoff on the
and
end around to
one
Colin
tackle.
Sutton, and there's Sutton,
turns
first
the
down
corner,
and more.
gets up the field. I think he stepped
And I
out of
stepped
bounds.
out of
He did.
bounds.
Blow- Whistling back, he was shrieking.
Yeah,
toward
Colin
the,
Sutton
end zone.
stepped out of bounds
Lucky that he stepped out of bounds for the Cougars.
13-yard gain.
with the 1st and 10 with the first down.
Well, I mean, when you average 16.2 yards a carry, you got to watch out for the guy.
3 yards.
He gets it to the 43-yard line. So a 14-yard
They put him in motion
gain.
again this time.
They're going to give it to Opal, and Opal just drags drags Noah Ponce. But again, Opal shows that able to just get forward.
Opal showing a lot of strength. Opal only 5'8", 181 pounds, but showing a lot of strength.
Just a gain of 1, but he carried that guy a couple of yards. Second and 9 at the 44. And here is Clark going to throw it. It is complete. And this is Devin Gummer. First time we've called his name tonight as he gets the first down for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, first reception of the night for Devin Gummer.
Gummer comes into this game as your big receiving threat. 486 yards on the year, 7 touchdowns. It's a fresh set of downs for New Albany now in Bloomington North territory at the 45. Here is, this time it's Clark. He's going to keep it, and he's just going to get past the 40 down to the 35, but there is a flag.
All I saw was 2 linemen on the ground, and it looks like it's going to be against the Bulldogs.
So they will back him up, a flag on New Albany.
10-yard penalty.
And that's a 10-yarder on the Bulldogs. That's going to put them back to the New Albany 40.
Oh, a chop block.
Chop block. So that will be a 1st and 25 on the 40 of New Albany. Second penalty tonight so far for the Bulldogs.
First and 25.
First and 25.
New Albany 40-yard line.
Clark in the shotgun.
2 receivers to the right, 1 receiver to the left.
Here's that man in motion now.
And
a
it
flag
looked like
flies.
Gummer jumped early.
False start against New Albany. So now 1st and 30 for the Bulldogs.
So that's going to back New Albany up on the false start to 1st and 30 at the 35. So 3 penalties on the Bulldogs so far.
You got to get a defensive stop.
Got to get a stop here, right?
Yeah, this is going to be very important now. The Cougars have no excuse not to get a stop on this drive right now with 30 yards for a first down needed.
In the first quarter, New Albany gets up to the line.
As
First down and
1st and 30.
3 receivers to the
Clark,
right.
quick throw
Quick hitter,
to
and
Gummer.
that's caught by Devin Gummer.
And Gummer gets met immediately
39-yard
by 27, which was Michael Barron.
second down
And Barron took a really risky angle there because it looked like Gummer could have
no score
if
here between New
possibly
Albany
could have
and
broken that
Bloomington
tackle,
North.
and if
New
he
Albany
did, he
second
would have
down.
gotten that first down.
Backwards, though, with a couple of big penalties.
Yeah, good job by
They'll have it
Michael
second
Barron.
and long. 2
on that
receivers to the
stop.
right, 1 receiver to the left. They have a tight end split back.
Clark
Here's the rollout.
gonna
for
roll.
The quarterback.
Now he's going to move forward. He's got
Clark will
room.
take off, run, starts right, cuts
Gets
back
toward
towards
the
left,
45-yard line.
and he'll have another gain out of that one to the
So
44-yard
again,
line.
Dylan Clark not only able to throw, but he can take off when he has to.
Now, and,
Yeah, he's definitely not a stationary quarterback. He has run for 91 yards on the season and has a rushing touchdown.
both those teams highly ranked this
It
year.
is a 3rd and 21 for
2 receivers,
New
same
Albany.
formation, 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Split
Again, they're
back
going to
is the
keep
tight end, and
Clark in
Opal
the
backfield.
shotgun.
They give
He's
big
going to
handoff
throw it,
Opal, throws
and this
over the
one
middle,
is
has
complete.
his caught, and that'll be a first down.
And
There
that
you go,
is
Brandon.
caught
That is
to
just
number
a first
9,
down killer
which
for
is Colin
Bloomington
Sutton.
North defense.
You mentioned how got to keep your eyes on Sutton, and Sutton making an impact in this game so far.
It was a nice skinny post route right up the middle, in between the linebackers and the safeties.
4-yard line into Bloomington North territory again, 258.
And there
Here's
is
the
the
for
run
Opal around
to
the right
Opal.
side. And Opal stopped after about a 3-yard pickup.
And clock
Second down,
under the
7.
3-minute mark here. I mean, fast-moving first quarter. as he gets a gain of 3, second
Albany
and
gets up to the line quickly.
7.
2 receivers. Man in motion.
There is Sutton in motion. It's going to be
Fake the jet
Opal,
sweep, give it to the tailback.
and he gets
And he
just
gets
past the 30-yard
Opal
line.
On the carry, just past the 30-yard line.
And he's technically still not down because he's crowd surfing the offensive line at this moment.
Yeah, Opal's done a good job. I mean,
Now he's down.
He's done a good job so far of being able to follow his blockers, get yardage, get forward. But Bloomington North has done a good job of containing him as well.
First drive, 13 plays, resulted in no points.
3rd and 5 at the 29. This will be a screen to Sutton.
To Sutton, I believe. Yeah, Colin Sutton on the reception.
That is complete.
And it's another first down as they move the chains on 3rd and 5.
Sutton so far just his second
First and 10,
reception of the night.
7 that time for New Albany.
And that will be a fresh set of downs for New Albany.
After they gained the 3rd and 21 first down, they continue to
Chewing up a lot of clock so far. There is Opal inside the red zone past the 15-yard line.
And hit once and brought down inside the 15.
So Austin Opal gets inside to the 14.
He had a one-on-one with Charlie Bless and was able to juke him out and immediately get a nice 8 yards on the play.
Snap.
There is Opal again, and he gets near the 10-yard line. As it's a gain of 4, it will be a 1st and 10 at the 11.
Any pushback right now. A minute to go here in the
So
first.
a good job by the Bulldogs. They're knocking on that door as we go inside a minute here in the first quarter.
First down
And it's going to
10
be
from
a
the
timeout
11-yard line.
for Bloomington North.
Can't have an opportunity, but Bloomington North's
So
gonna call
Bloomington
timeout
North going to
here
call the
with 50
timeout
seconds
here.
remaining. I think this is just to
As
give
you
their
see the
defense
crowd
a
here at
quick
Bloomington
little
North, a
breather.
very
And
good
as you
crowd
said,
on hand tonight.
their defense
Beautiful night for high school football here.
And this is more of a getting your defense a rest kind of timeout because they have literally been on the field for 10 of the 11 minutes of this quarter.
Yeah, New Albany has had a very lengthy drive here. Both plays. The first drive was 13 plays, and again, New Albany is just chewing up a lot of clock.
Technically, they could have had a first down if it would have been a turnover, but it was a punt.
So right now, I'm getting an update from the Indian Creek Edgewood game. Indian Creek's up 8-0, 11:54 in the second quarter.
In the first quarter, 1st and 10, New Albany on the 11-yard
And it was
line of
no
Bloomington.
Indian Creek had just scored going into the second quarter. So again, it's 8-0 Indian Creek. We'll keep an eye on that game as well.
4 receivers, 3 to the left.
Here's Clark going to go to the end zone, and it is caught for the touchdown to Devin Gummer.
Yeah, that looked like it was going to be overthrown, but an excellent job of catching it with his fingertips and toe tapping in the end zone. That was a Saturday play right there.
Yeah, New Albany. Yeah, and he's going to be playing on Saturday somewhere as a big play for Devin Gummer, as he's got his 8th touchdown reception of the year, and Clark with his 11th touchdown pass of the season.
Number 88, the kicker.
And now
Extra point kick is
now
up
the
and
kick up
through
and
the
good for
uprights.
Noah
New Albany leads it
Littleswope, the
7-0.
junior, and New Albany's up 7-0. So 2 big play drives, 2 long drives for the Bulldogs, and they connect with Dylan Clark to Devin Gummer on an 11-yard pass. And again, they have kept that North defense on the field for the majority of this first quarter.
Yeah, that was the key thing, is that they basically wore down that defense. The Cougars' defense has been fairly good in this game so far, but it just became like a war of attrition, and they got worn down.
Now back for the Cougars. Looks like Jenkins
Bloomington North
and
now back
Barron.
to receive the first kick of the game.
as
There it looks like Michael Barron and
kicking
Nathan
off
Jenkins.
for New Albany.
Jenkins on the left hash
88,
mark, Barron
that
on the
is
right,
Little
far
Slope.
That's moving left to right
There's
here
a name for a kicker,
in the
Little
first
Slope.
quarter.
He will kick this away,
Little Swope to kick off. From the
and
40,
it
here's
is
the kick.
up.
Sidewinder
It is going to
will be
go
taken
to
by
Jenkins
on
near the
7-yard
5.
line.
Here he
Stumbles, now
comes.
turns it upfield.
Jenkins
He's at the
near the 30,
bounces
goes
backwards,
back to
trying
the
cut,
25.
getting outside, and he's hit backwards.
So North will take it over about the 25-yard line.
Call him back to the 26
But a good run by Nathan Jenkins. Just tried to cut back a little bit, and he got taken back.
Yeah, he just needed to make that one guy miss and probably would have gotten all the way to the 40 before being hit again.
First and 10 at the 26. 38 seconds to go here in quarter number 1.
They're actually going to give him to the 29, Brent. So
Going to get him to the
yards on that forward progress. Here's
29.
Lozano back to
Lozano,
the shotgun. 2 men in the backfield
he's going to
with him
throw
on
it,
split backs.
and
Here's
that
the
is
throw, catch.
complete
It's caught by Jack Recker.
to Jack Recker.
And he has it to the 34.
We mentioned the injuries to Trueblood and to Steinfeld, so we expected to hear some new names as well, and Recker
Second down and 5.
given a chance there.
Try to run another play. They're not going to
Looks
break
like
the huddle. It
Bloomington
doesn't
North
look
will
like
not
they'll
run
go to
another
the
play.
sideline.
They're going to end this
And
first
that'll be how
quarter.
the first quarter will end. It's
And
Bloomington North
they will
trailing New Albany 7-0.
go to
Back
the
in 60
other
seconds,
end,
listening to high school football on
as
Spirit
this will
95.
officially be the end of the first quarter with New Albany leading Bloomington North 7-0 on Smithville TV.
ATI is a group of highly skilled physical therapists. We have 750 locations, and we have 5 locations here in Bloomington. If you have a muscle deficit or a joint deficit, we're going to treat that, and then we're going to teach you what to do to continue forward without our help. So we want to make you as independent as possible. You can contact ATI by calling our phone number here at the clinic, or you can log on to www.atipt.com and get set up from there.
Welcome back to Dennis O. Martin Memorial Field here at Bloomington High School North. New Albany leads Bloomington North 7-0 as we start the second quarter of play. Glad you could join us for North Cougar football here on Smithville TV alongside Quinn Saturday. I am Nick Jenkinson, and Quinn, it has been the New Albany offense with two long drives that resulted in the Dylan Clark to Devin Gummer touchdown with 45.9 to go in the first quarter. As you see the Ben Heitink getting his first carry, and it's a first down for Ben Heitink.
And I think basically had as many yards in the past 2 games on that run. He had as many yards on that run as he did in the last 2 games, and that is a very encouraging sign for Heitink to have a really nice run like that to start his game.
Yeah, he came into this game with 374 yards, but he only had 8 yards in the last 2 games, as we mentioned in the pregame. Fresh set it down for Bloomington North, first and 10 at the 42, and a flag flies. And it's a false start on Bloomington North. So that will move them back 5 yards.
15 now, back to the 38-yard line. 37-yard line.
So first and 15
Clock moves.
at the
Got the young
37.
cheerleaders down there joining the Bloomington North cheerleaders.
So here we go. As you see the Bloomington North band getting into the, having some fun. Getting a good crowd on hand tonight for homecoming. Lozano going to throw it complete to Jack Recker across midfield and down to the 45.
Well, it looks like we have our answer to who will be getting those snaps for Steinfeld, and it has been Jack Recker who's come on here in this drive, and an excellent pass by Lozano as well. an excellent coverage route by Jenkins to draw away the defense so that Wrecker could get open.
To the right from Bloomington North. One
Nice.
receiver to
Jack
the left.
Wrecker
Kate
is
Hoffman that lone receiver on the left. Two split backs.
6'4", 187. There's the screen pass, and then
catches it, but pays a
gets
price.
drilled by number 4, Devon Stovall.
I understand, but he's going to lose
Yeah.
yardage had he just dropped it. It would have been second and 10.
The
Instead, now it's second
screen
and
pass
13 after the catch.
went well,
You know, the corner read that one
except for the part where somebody had to block.
Yeah, he got just met. Stovall read that very well for New Albany. Lost a 3, second and 13 at the 48.
Yeah, it's one of those again. You can't drop it if you're Nathan Jenkins. You're not thinking about that at the moment, but
You're hoping the guy misses.
right.
Approaching 10
That's
minutes
what
to
you need
go
on those screen
here.
passes. That first guy to miss. He did not.
This is Lozano. Pressure coming, and he gets rid of it, and then there's a flag. 55 for New Albany came flying in.
Oh, and it's a
Court
roughing the
Gibbons again,
passer as well.
and they will get him for a roughing the passer.
Penalty. That was a big number 99.
He's a big boy.
Shot, you know, they've only got him listed 6'2", 236.
So that's going to give North excellent field position. That's a 15-yarder.
A number wrong or what? But
If he's 236, I'm only about 100 pounds.
he's a big boy.
So a huge penalty.
So that'll be a 15
An opportunity for Bloomington North. Going to put him at the 33.
after the incomplete pass, and that'll give Bloomington North a
Fresh
first
set
down
of
as
downs,
well.
too. First and 10.
45 yards.
First and
So
10
now to the New Albany 33
at the
yard
33.
line. First and 10,
Record
Cougars,
bottom of your
9:53
screen.
to go, trailing
High
7-0.
Tink in the back.
Lozano goes under center. They'll
And
give
this
it to
will-
High Tink on the option.
High Tink.
And
He's
goes
going to
up
move
the gut.
forward for a couple yards. And this is good to see High Tink getting the
Inside
yards
the 30-yard
that he
line
needs.
to
You know, he's had two 100-yard games earlier in the season, struggled the last couple games, but he's starting to regain his form here.
And you can also tell that Coach Bless has kind of rearranged the playbook as well for Lozano, because you notice that more of a passing offense, where at the beginning used to be a lot of option up the middle, but now he's kind of used as a change of pace back.
Yeah, Lozano can also run, and flags fly, and there was a lot of movement there.
Well, unfortunately,
And that will be on Bloomington North. False start.
5 on the false start. Replay the down, second and 10.
there's one guy that really needs to know that count. It's got to be the center, because
So they'll move him back to the 33.
obviously procedure.
So they lose those 5 yards they just gained.
As an update from Edgewood, it is tied 8-8, 5:47 left to go before halftime, and Lavon Bellamy gets another touchdown for the Mustangs. The senior move-in from Iowa ties it up, so we'll keep an eye on that game as Edgewood and Indian Creek fight for that lead in the division.
Sam Warzinski and Ben Heiting.
Going to be Lozano. It is complete
Bloomington North.
to
And
that is Cade Luffman with his first reception of the night.
Basically, just throw it up and catch it. Loffman at 6'2", can outjump quite a few corners, and he was able to on that pass.
A beautiful catch for Cade Loffman, puts him first and goal at the 3. So a 30-yard pass play.
Here's Lozano. He'll go under center. Two split backs. off the
Loffman's
2-yard
first
line.
reception of the night. Lozano goes under center. Now he's going to
I guess not I, just the one
wait
back,
to
one tailback. That's
get the
Heiting.
call from the sideline.
8:42 clock. Winds. Two receivers split out wide.
Then
In
it's going to
motion
be the
is
toss to
He'll get the
Jenkins.
pitch.
He
Can't turn the
cannot
corner.
get
Actually, he's
to
gonna
the
lose
corner,
a
and
yard
he's
or
going
two.
to lose yardage as New
Tackle
Albany
made by
read
number
that perfectly.
22 for New Albany. That's DeAndre Stroud.
DeAndre Stroud for New Albany with
Now
the
you're gonna lose
stop.
So loss
Number
of 4
22.
on the run.
So it's going to
Second
be
down and goal still.
second and goal at the 7.
Jenkins on the carry. They had him on that toss out wide.
Bloomington North knocking on the door,
Loftman out wide to the right.
approaching
Recker and Jenkins wide to the
The
left.
8-minute mark.
Orzinski and Heiting in the backfield with Lozano.
Here is
shotgun.
Lozano.
Snap back. Give it to
He's going
Heiting.
to give it to Heiting.
And Heiting going to gain
And
those
he
yards
gets
lost back.
inside the 5.
Got 3 of the 4 lost.
Now it
Third down
will be
and
a
goal from the 4.
3rd and goal from the 4.
Cougars trying to tie this thing up here.
Gain of
trailing
3
by
for
a touchdown.
Heiting.
7-0. 7:33 to go. Second quarter.
Heiting so far 16 yards on 3 carries.
And I definitely expect a pass play here because that's what has gotten you down the field to this point. Granted, I know that when you're down there, you don't want to like
Often out wide.
do any like high risk
Formation.
plays, but right now you're going to need to put this in Lozano's hands.
In the backfield.
Lozano is going to go to the end zone on the screen. Incomplete, intended for Wrecker.
And that was just great defense by number 8, Brendan Sandvin, who did an excellent job defending the pass.
Ben Friel in the field goal unit.
And now it is a 4th and 4, and it's going to be Ben Friel with the field goal attempt.
This from about the 11-yard line on the right hash.
And I know it's probably got a sting to only go with a field goal right here, but any points are good right about now.
You got to get points on the board, and it's going to be about a 21-yard attempt, and it is good for Ben Friel.
And it is good. 21-yard field goal good.
So a 21-yard field goal for Ben Friel, and it is now 7-3 with 7:06 left before halftime. Again, stay tuned. We'll have a great halftime feature for you.
And as I was saying, I didn't want to do the announcer's jinx, but it's very important. It's probably stings that they weren't able to get a touchdown, but they needed to get those points on the board because not getting anything out of that drive would have been a lot more demoralizing.
As you see the Bloomington North cheerleaders and the little future Cougar cheerleaders down there for homecoming, as a lot of cheerleaders down there, our future cheerleaders down there tonight on the track. Homecoming here at Bloomington North. Again, a beautiful night for football. The weather has held off. And Friel will kick this off. Again, you got Opal and Gummer back for New Albany standing at the 5. And this one is going to go. Going to be the short kick. And this is 34. And that is Dejon Winburn with the return. So New Albany will take over 1st and 10 at the 30.
And you can definitely bet that the defensive coordinator got in his defense's face and said, listen, they're averaging 8 minutes a drive right now. Please get a 3 and out.
And Bloomington North also had a long drive there as well, aided by a big roughing the passer penalty of 15 yards against New Albany. 1st and 10 at the 30. Just under,
shotgun formation for Dylan Clark.
just approaching 7 minutes. And this is Austin Opal, and he gets past the 35-yard line.
Not the man in motion, but they come and crossed each other.
New Albany likes to run a lot of misdirection, the fake handoffs, but Opal is gaining yards.
And the reason why that's worked is because you have a guy like Colin Sutton who makes that very dangerous, that you have to pay respect to every single time.
Quite a bit in
Gain of 6, 2nd and 4 at the 36. And Clark back to pass, got a man open. That's Gummer, incomplete.
Yeah, Gummer was wide open, but Clark was throwing off his back foot, and usually when you're throwing off your back foot, you'll take an incompletion.
Yeah, Clark has struggled a little bit in the passing game, although he's started to find his form there with his he's completed he had 4 passes in a row completed before that incompletion. 3rd and 4 at the 36 for the Bulldogs. And here comes the reverse, and it is Colin Sutton, and he's got daylight, 1st down and more, and he gets past midfield.
And why that worked so well is because it was a triple reverse where they handed it off to Opal, and then Opal handed it off to Sutton. So immediately you see Opal, and you're like, oh, we need to guard him. Nope, now here comes Sutton the other way around. And before they can react, he already got a first down.
He gets inside. He gets into Bloomington North territory, does Colin Sutton. Clark, there's pressure, and he goes down. Dylan Clark is sacked as number 12 was Charlie Blass. Came in for the sack.
So after a big 17-yard run, it's a loss of yards on the sack.
So a big loss, 7 yards.
Like Charlie Bless got in on
And that will put them back in New Albany territory.
A huge sack. Bless game of literal. I think he ran about 20 yards to get that sack.
Huge sack for the Cougars. This is Opal, and he is going to get met at the 45-yard line.
Yeah, Opal had some room to run, but didn't have any holes to find.
No, and I think Bloomington North has done a good job defensively on closing those holes on Opal.
Yeah, even though Opal has had some success and has been able to pull some of the defenders along with him, they have made sure to at least contain him, not let him get huge chunks of yards.
No gain for Opal, 3rd and 17 at the 46. Again, stay tuned. We'll have a great halftime feature for you.
On 3rd and 17. Two receivers, they put a man in motion.
And here is Clark. He's going to go find Gummer over the top, and Gummer gets it, and he just drags Sam Rosinski down inside the 5. And Gummer's slow to get up.
Yeah, he was basically holding on for dear life and was dragging down the back of his jersey and was able to get him down. Credit to him, but that was just an excellent pass by Clark, perfectly placed, and Gummer just a perfect over-the-shoulder catch. He has been very impressive, Gummer has.
Yeah, Gummer scored the first touchdown of the night, and then he connects. Then Dylan Clark connects with him on a 52-yard pass. There is a stuff in the backfield, and that's Opal. And that will bring up 2nd down. Caleb McCoy with his stop. Looks like a 2nd and goal here at the 4. Clark with Opal in the back.
And Sutton was wide open.
And that is Sutton with the touchdown from Clark.
And that's called taking advantage of his zone defense. Sutton literally had free range over there. As soon as the cornerback was taking care of Gummer, Sutton was literally had a country mile of open space.
Yeah, a 2nd touchdown pass of the night for Clark. First one for reception for Sutton. Kick is up and it is blocked. So it is 13-3 New Albany as the extra point blocked. 3:40 left to go here before halftime.
And a reminder that 2 timeouts left for the Cougars, as they're probably going to start getting into hurry-up mode here to try to score a touchdown here before. Remember, they did defer at the beginning when they won the coin toss, so they do get the ball back. So if they can score here, prevent New Albany from scoring, or just at least run out the clock, they can have a chance to start the second half with a chance to take the lead.
And we'll have it again. Bloomington North, like you said, does get the ball back. New Albany still has all 3 timeouts remaining.
And the big thing about that blocked extra point is that a touchdown and a field goal tie it instead of having to worry about, going for 2 or anything like that.
Update over from Ellettsville. Indian Creek has scored. It is now 14-8. going to the half. Indian Creek scored with 1:11 left in the second, and they're going to receive the ball to start the second half. So we'll keep an eye on that game tonight going over there at Edgewood. Meanwhile, Nathan Jenkins is going to receive the kick about the 10-yard line. He's going to get past the 20. He's got a shifty move past the 30 before being knocked down.
I got his leg pulled out from underneath him. Looked like he was about to just break it wide open.
Yep, I'm going to call back on the studio.
So a 1st and 10. North will have the ball at the 33.
We lost internet at the station. We lost internet at the station.
So 3:30, approaching 3.5 minutes to go here before halftime. As Lozano, 2 in the back, 2 receivers. That's going to be a high tank, and he's going to get just out to the 35-yard line.
Yeah, like I said, there is a clear difference between what we saw in our first game with Bloomington North and this game, where instead of being the focal point of the offense, High Tink, like I said, is being used more of a change of pace to as the passing game has been the main strength here of this Cougar offense.
2nd and 8 at the 35. And so far, you know, I mean, both teams have had long drives. They've gotten, you know, Bloomington North hanging right here, and that is a quick throw to Wrecker, or no, Balin Murphy with the reception.
Got right back to the line of scrimmage at the 35, so we'll call it no gain on that.
Balin Murphy wears number 13. Again,
now playing under the lights here.
Cougars have 2 timeouts left. New Albany has 3. No gain for Murphy.
Lozano takes a look at his gets a call from the
Again, doesn't look like the Cougars are in a lot of hurry.
Well, they also, like I said, they still have 2 timeouts left, and they don't want to give too much time because remember they have 3. New Albany has 3 timeouts.
And now a timeout is called, and it will be Bloomington North. So that will take them down to 1.
It was it looked like the game clock was going down a little too fast.
So 1:58 to go here before halftime, as the Bulldogs lead Bloomington North 13-3. As you see the Bloomington North offense getting their instructions
like to see them obviously get a first down here
from the sideline.
Just to move the chains. They get the ball to start the second quarter. You'd hate to give
Again, Bloomington North will get the ball to start the second quarter.
Yeah, getting that second half.
So a good start the second half. So that's a good sign for the Cougars. Of course, the North Band is warming up there. They'll perform here at halftime with again, minute 58, just 1 timeout. New Albany does have all 3 left.
4 receivers, 3 are lined up to the left, all spread
Lozano, and he, as you see, trips to the bottom of the screen.
High Tink in the backfield for Bloomington North.
Lozano gonna throw it, loft it up, and they're gonna say he was out of bounds.
And it was caught by Jack Wrecker.
And that was Jack Wrecker.
Yeah, even if it was, it looked like Wrecker did do a little push off, so there probably would have been some offensive pass interference even if it was caught.
So a 4th and 8, and Friel is going to come out to punt, and you're going to have Opal and Gummer back there, standing about the 20. So
trying to flip the field here, knock New Albany back.
Again, this is New Albany's got all 3 timeouts, so they have time to use. High snap, Friel's got to get it off, and he does.
It's still a pretty good punt.
And then Gummer's going to let it bounce, and he's going to spin. Now he's going to try to get to the outside. He's got room. He's got plenty of room. He's going to get to the midfield. Keep going.
Near the 50, just enough of a knock by Friel.
Huge return by Devin Gummer. Gets past midfield. I mean, he looked dead in the water at the 20, and he's able to come all the way across the field and get blocks and get to the edge and get across midfield.
That's a backbreaker for Bloomington North. And for New Albany, Gummer showing off his returning skills. Like I said, he's just been very, very impressive here in this game. And a lot of people try to run backwards so that they can try to get more yards. It's because of plays like those that you'll see many plays that go wrong by people trying to run behind him. But you can see Gummer is one of the few who's able to do that correctly.
And there is Austin Opal with the handoff. And he gets down to about the no gain. It's going to be stopped at the line of scrimmage. So 2nd and 10 at the 43. Again, Bulldogs have 3 timeouts.
25 seconds still on the play
but
clock.
not
Not
going to use them.
2 receivers to the left. Here's snap back for
Here
Dylan
is
Clark.
Clark, going to roll, going to throw it, intended for Sutton, incomplete.
Yeah, just way too short. That's the thing that is noticeable about Clark is that he seems to be a much better thrower when he has his feet set instead of when he's on the run, because that is the 2nd or 3rd time, I believe, where he's either underthrown or overthrown a receiver when he's been on the run.
Yeah, and he's again, and that's a credit to Bloomington North defense for making him go on the run. That's probably something that they saw on the game film. And now New Albany will take their first timeout of the half with 56.7 to go here before the break.
Makes a lot of sense, because if you're New Albany, you want to score here because you want to push this game you want to push them into as big of a hole as possible, especially since North is going to get the ball to start the second half.
As you see the North sidelines, again, beautiful night here for high school football.
And with it being 3rd down, expect something to be drawn up for Sutton. He seems to be the guy who's able to make a big play on 3rd down.
3rd and 10 at the 43 for the Bulldogs. You know, we always talk about the fact that you know, the Cougars were, you know, for the last couple of years not able to stop people on 3rd down. They've struggled with that tonight.
Watch out for Sutton in this slot.
2 receivers top of the screen. Here is Clark, and he gets just sacked.
Maybe lost the ball there late.
And that is 44. That is Hunter Rodenbaugh with the sack on Clark.
Coming in, getting some early contact, and another timeout call.
And it's a 4th and 10, and New Albany calls another timeout. Loss of 8.
The Cougars call a timeout there with
It was actually Bloomington North called the timeout. So the Cougars are out of timeouts. New Albany's got 2 left. But they lost at 8 for Dylan Clark on that sack. And that's another thing that Bloomington North Quinn has been able to do, is to get to Dylan Clark.
Yeah, they have done an excellent job of throwing up pressure. Like I said, Clark is a good runner, but when it comes to being the passing part of his game, that his running ability doesn't translate over to being able to pass well on the run or trying to get around pressure. So I mean, that's an excellent job by Bloomington North defense.
So it's a 4th and 18 now, and they will punt. Nathan Jenkins is going to stand back about the 15.
And with no timeouts, we're going to probably see a couple of Hail Mary shots.
And there is he's got to pick it up. And now Clark has to go on the run, and he's brought down. And Bloomington North going to get excellent field position here with just over 30 seconds left to go before half.
That was probably the worst case scenario for the Bulldogs.
It's going to be a 1st and 10 at
because
the 35.
What would have turned into just a bunch of Hail Marys, now you have a legitimate strategy in trying to play the sidelines and being able to not have to just risk throwing it up and praying. You can actually get some extra strategic pass plays in here.
It's going to give him the ball at the 33. So, again, credit the Bloomington North defense, but it's a bad snap by New Albany. So, opportunities given for Bloomington North. Here's Lozano. He fires it, screen pass, and then Hightink gets met by number 56 for New Albany, Gavin Perkins.
And they got to hurry up because clock is not stopping.
2nd and 12 at the 35, and then Lozano spikes it.
Spike it with 17 seconds to go.
So that was a loss of 2 on that one to Hightink.
At the 35.
Now a 3rd and 12 at the 35.
You also got to think Friel has a pretty good leg on him. You should be able to, if he can get it around to the 20-yard line and out of bounds, you can at least get a field goal opportunity out of this.
Ben Friel, a very good kicker, kicked a 21-yarder early. Again, no timeout, so you got to throw it to the sidelines here with 17 seconds left.
And Scott Bless looks like he's getting his guys.
There's Lozano. He's going to look to the sidelines. Caught by Sam Rosinski, and he does get out of bounds with 11 seconds left.
And it is a 4th down, so unfortunately they're going to just have to go for the field goal right here.
And they are going to bring Ben Friel out.
25. That'll bring out Ben Friel on 4th down to kick the field goal. This already made one from 21 yards earlier in this quarter. This one will be from, looks like, 42 yards.
So
Friel. Ben Friel. This one kicking from the left
say
hash
42
mark.
yards.
First one from the right. 11 seconds to go. Here's Friel on 4th and 2.
Here it is. It's up. Pressure coming, but this is going to go way right. No good.
That one, and it is no good for Friel.
So a missed field goal for Ben Friel.
And again, that one from 42 yards. Just if he tried to do too much, or he just mishit that one, Brent.
It's going to be a 1st and 10 at the 25. And most likely New Albany's just going to take a knee here and go into the locker room.
And let's see if New Albany wants to run one player if they take a knee here.
So 6.6 to go.
Here are 6 seconds
What I thought would be a high-scoring game so far has not been. 13 to 3.
20-yard line for New Albany.
Both teams have chewing up a lot of clock.
Take this one into halftime, content with a 10-point
And
lead. That's exactly what
New Albany
they do.
will just take the knee and run out the clock. And
Bloomington
we'll go to
North
halftime with the Bulldogs leading the Cougars 13 to 3 as we look at the highlights. And here is as you see, the big sack on Reese Lozano. And then Dylan Clark finds James Sutton over the middle. And there is Clark with the touchdown to Devin Gummer, the first one of the night. And then it's the good pass over the middle to Jack Recker. And then there's the big stuff, Nathan Jenkins in the backfield. Lozano doing a good job, though. He finds Cade Loffman down the field. But again, this was the beautiful play. Devin Gummer over the middle, gets down near the goal line before losing the ball. And then you see the rollout and James Sutton wide open in the end zone. And then the missed extra point. As we're at halftime, New Albany leads Bloomington North 13 to 3 here on Smithville TV. As we welcome you back to Bloomington High School North Dennis O. Martin Memorial Field. The New Albany Bulldogs lead the Bloomington North Cougars 13 to 3 here as we get ready to start the second half. Glad you could join us for North Cougar football on Smithville TV. Alongside Quinn Saturday, I am Nick Jenkinson. A very entertaining game so far. A quick look at the numbers here. Reese Lozano, 7 of 11 for 58 yards, found 6 different receivers in the first half. As we've talked about with New Albany, it is Austin Opal, 17 carries, 44 yards. Dylan Clark 8
They've done a really good job bringing
for 14 passing, 123 yards, 2 touchdowns.
They had a block
Devin Gummer, 4 catches, 79 yards, a touchdown. Colin Sutton, Quinn, who you mentioned, that dual threat, both receiving and running the ball. 3 carries for 40 yards, 3 receptions for 31 yards, and a touchdown.
Yeah, he has definitely been the difference maker in this game. Well, like I have gushed over Gummer's receptions in this game. However, it has been Sutton who has been making huge third down runs or third down catches that have continued drives. He has been, without a doubt, the MVP of this first half. And now the biggest thing, though, the reason why North is still in this game, though, despite you mentioned all those numbers, is you go back to Opal. Opal is a guy who was averaging, He was averaging 6.2 yards a carry on the season, and his low on the season was 94 yards rushing in a game. He's at 44 at half for 2.6 yards a carry. They have really good job containing him. If they can continue that in the second half and start taking advantage of mistakes that the Bulldogs are make and get the running game going a little bit,
yeah.
I think they can win this game. They're right in it.
They definitely have a chance, as we talked about. No Xavier Trueblood, no Aaron Steinfeld, both out with injuries. Trueblood suffered a concussion during the fourth quarter of the Hope North game. Steinfeld suffered a broken collarbone. As you see North warming up. Only score for Bloomington North so far, Ben Friel's 21-yard field goal. Also crowned homecoming king here at halftime. So congratulations to Ben Friel. He had to quickly take the sash and the crown off and head to the locker room to join his teammates. So no victory lap for him around the track, but I know he'll get that later as congratulations to Ben Friel being named the homecoming king for 2018. As you look at New Albany warming up here to start the second half, as some quick news and notes from around. Warren Central is the number 1 team in 6A, New Palestine 5A, Fort Wayne Dwenger in 4A, Chittard in 3A, Western Boone 2A, Pioneer in 1A. Trinity Lutheran, who is a private school located in Seymour, has canceled the rest of the football season after an 0-3 start, and they were found to be violation of an enrollment rule. They had kids on their program that were actually kids that were homeschool kids, and that's the second time their program's been canceled. It was canceled in 2015 due to low enrollment numbers. It started in 2012. So a sad situation. You've now had 3 schools, Wood Memorial and Hammond Bishop Knoll, cancel their seasons before the season started. Now, unfortunately, Trinity Lutheran has to do the same. So sad situation to see, these small schools having to cancel football for various reasons. Our next game, Friday, October the 5th at Edgewood. It'll be Cascade at Edgewood. Cascade 3-2. They play Owen Valley tonight. They were ahead. They will play Indian Creek next week. Edgewood hosting Indian Creek, trailing right now at halftime. And then we'll play Brown County next week. Indian Creek, Cascade, and Edgewood all tied in the WIC East. So the crossovers come up in week 9. And as you know, Quinn, this is all going to shake out here in the next 2 weeks before we get to that game in Ellisville 2 weeks from tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be very big. Right now, Edgewood has a little bit of to make up against Indian Creek tonight. But if they're able to win, then that game against Cascade could be for first place in that division.
Yeah, and Levon Bellamy has a touchdown pass to touchdown run tonight. He's got 10 touchdowns on the season. He's got 1 receiving touchdown. Skylar Curtis has 7 touchdowns on the season, 4 rushing touchdowns. And the defensive coordinator for Edgewood, Michael Dorian, came up with a turnover chain that's made out of, it's 4 horseshoes tied together with a chain. You know, you see this in college football with the University of Miami, kind of started the turnover chain. A lot of schools have come up with different props to fire up their guys, and so Edgewood has now done the same thing. So you got the red turf, you got the turnover chain. I mean, you know, the culture.
The hippest of schools.
They are changing the culture over there, and it was also Brian Rosenberg, the head coach at Edgewood. It was his birthday yesterday, and also they had the Monroe County Fall Festivals going on in Ellettsville, and I know that he and Coach Doring and a couple of the other coaches, you could, for raising some money and for charity, you could dunk them. So you could dunk the coaches. So what a birthday present for Coach Rosenberg, to go into a dunking booth. And hopefully he gets another present tonight if Edgewood is able to beat Indian Creek. So North will get the ball to start the second half, and here is Nathan Jenkins, and he is working his way past the 30 near the 40-yard line.
I feel like this has literally been the exact same case for all 3 kick returns. Jenkins gets the ball, looks like he's going to get tackled, escapes about 5 guys, looks like he's about to break all the way to the end zone and then gets stopped at the 40. I think that's literally been every single kick return in this game so far for Bloomington North.
He has definitely stepped up in the return game without Xavier Trueblood in this game, and definitely carrying the load for North. So Lozano will go under center, 1st and 10 at the 40.
Like to see more high tink here in the second half.
And you're going to, no, it's going to be Rosano on the keeper. 1st and 10 and more into New Albany territory, and he gets knocked out of bounds near the 30-yard line.
That was an excellent, that's using that's technically using high tink, being able to draw the defense in and then bounce to the outside. Excellent run by the freshman. I always have to keep telling myself he's a freshman because he seems so much wiser and more mature than you would believe a freshman quarterback would be. That was just an excellent run.
27-yard gain for Lozano. 1st and 10 at the 33 in New Albany territory. Lozano shotgun, 2 receivers, top of the screen. Lozano's going to roll, and he is going to take off again, break a couple tackles, and then he gets kind of thrown back as he gets near the 30-yard line. But we've seen the maturity of Lozano. At times you have seen the fact that he gets knocked back for major losses. But again, he's also able to get himself, like Skylar Curtis from Edgewood, able to get himself out of situations and gain big yards.
Yeah, he's doing an excellent job. Excellent job as a dual threat. Very dangerous quarterback. He's very, very promising freshman.
2nd and 8. And looks like, I think that is high tink with the carry, and it is. And he gets inside the 30, gets a gain of 3. 3rd and 5.
And this is a really big 3rd down because this is about around the same area where they had the last kick, and that kick did not go over very well. So you want to try to get a touchdown here, make this a 1 possession, try to get this to a 13-10 game.
North knocking on the door of the red zone at the 28. And there was movement.
I don't know who moved first. It might have been the defense. I'm not sure. Yes, it was the defense.
It's going to be New Albany on an offside. So move them up 5, and that's going to be a 1st down for Bloomington North.
It was 3rd and 5, should be a 1st down.
Yep, and it is a 1st down. So basically take the control right out of their hand and give them the 1st down. But, yeah, like I was saying, it was like almost simultaneously seeing both of them move, but I did think that I think they did make the right call. I think the defensive tackle did move just slightly before the center did.
It's going to be a 1st and 10 at the 23. He fakes the handoff to Rosinski, and it's Lozano trying to get to the edge, and he gets near the 20. Corin Givens tracks him down. They're going to just give him 2 yards. So 2nd and 8.
It definitely looks like the offense is trying to incorporate the run game back into the playbook, and it seems that their solution to that is give Lozano the ball and say go, just go.
That's what you got to do. I mean, they're definitely. I mean, you can see Lozano has a lot more options too, as the season has progressed. Here's Lozano, quick drop, and it is incomplete, intended for Loffman.
That was really, really tight coverage. Almost was able to one-hand it behind him, but that was just excellent coverage by the Bulldogs. If he would have just thrown it just a little bit ahead of him, that would have been an easy touchdown.
That's a good play and great coverage for New Albany. 3rd and 8 at the 21. Again, knocking on the red zone door is the Cougars.
Jenkins one-on-one coverage at the top of the screen.
Keep an eye on that.
Actually, not
This is going to be high tink,
and
he's just going to get a yard or 2, and it's going to bring up a 4th down.
Apologize, that was Ricker at the top of the screen there.
It's a 2-yard gain, so it's a 4th and 6 at the 19.
Are we going to keep the offense out on the field, or we want to kick a field goal with Ben Free?
Now it's decision time. It looks like the offense is going to stay out on the field.
Big play right here.
So no Friel this time. But as you talked about, Quinn, earlier, it's kind of a make-or-break possession here for Bloomington North.
It is a big opportunity here.
Lozano pressure, going to fire it up, one-on-one, incomplete, and it will be a turnover on downs.
Barreling down on him, was lucky to get that one away. It was intended for Recker.
And that was intended for Recker, and it's again, one-on-one coverage, just a good coverage by New Albany there.
Yeah, their cornerbacks have done an excellent job on the outside. The one time they slipped up was just an excellent jump ball catch by Loffman in the second quarter on the 30-yard pass play. But overall, the cornerbacks for the Bulldogs have done an excellent job taking away the outside receivers.
Again, New Albany will take over 1st and 10. Edgewood just scored. It is looks like 22-16 Indian Creek ahead. 14 seconds left in the 3rd. The update I'm getting from a friend of mine says Edgewood's making big plays, but the penalties are killing them. So we'll keep an eye on that. Again, a big game over in Ellettsville tonight as Edgewood is trailing in a good game. Here is Austin Opal, and he gets past the 25-yard line.
And this is going to be very huge for the Bulldogs here in the second half. They haven't really gotten a big run from Opal yet. As soon as if they need to make sure that he's able to get that, because that's the one thing that the defense can really hang their hat on, is that they have been able to contain him in this game so far.
He has gotten a lot of the workload tonight. And there is Austin Opal, gets past the 25. Hunter Rodenball with the stop. 3rd and 1, gain of 2. As you said, he's not really been able to break the big run just yet. Trips bottom of the screen.
Dylan Clark, shotgun.
And this will be Opal. And they had him met in the backfield, and he breaks it, but then a flag flies.
Man, he should have been tackled for a loss of 4. Oh, we got
and it's a penalty on New Albany.
I just saw this official signal a hold. So a break for Bloomington North.
So a penalty on New Albany. And again, New Albany's penalties are hurt. The penalties are killing the Bulldogs.
This will knock them back 10 yards to the
And this is an interesting. This is an interesting decision. Do you take the fourth? Do you take the fourth down and get the punt right there, or do you push them back for fear that they would go for it here? And it looks like you'd rather take the extra yards.
You're going to take the extra yards. And it's going to be at the 17.
12 for Bloomington North. Gotta get off the
So a
field.
10-yard penalty for New Albany.
Flip this field position here, depending on what New Albany can do on
It's going to be Clark shotgun. Trips bottom of the screen. Clark going to fire it far side, and it is going to be complete to Gummer, but he is short of the first down.
Ironically, right where they would have been if they would have declined it.
Devin Gummer, as he will be a yard short of the line to gain. Gain of 11 on the pass.
So an 11-yard pass play, 4th and 1 now at the 28.
New Albany go for it here. Don't think they can.
And they are going to punt it away.
They've not had a problem picking up short yardage.
You can't really risk it.
And
right
it
here.
looks
You're up
like
2 scores and
Clark will
your own territory. If it was out near midfield,
kick, or he'll punt it away.
Reverse call for Bloomington North.
Jenkins going to stand about the 33
Their
yard
quarterback
line.
is the punter, Dylan Clark. It's a
High snap.
This time they get it down
Brzezinski
nearly
was coming, but he gets it away.
Bounces
Going
at
to take
the
a couple
40.
bounces and go
Nathan
right out of
Jenkins
bounds
will
at the
roll out of
35.
34-yard line. So that turns out to be a pretty good punt.
So good field position for Bloomington North
Flip the script for the Cougars.
with
And a huge break
Ball back after that. Stop.
for Bloomington North
Essentially a 3rd and out
to
for the Bulldogs.
to not convert on 4th down, but also
And 1st and 10.
hold New Albany and get the ball back relatively fast.
Here in the
1st and 10 at the 35. This is where the Cougars need to get a good drive and get to the end zone.
2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right for Bloomington North. Shotgun
1st
for
and
Reese
10.
Lozano. 2
Lozano.
backs with him as well.
Low
Lozano
snap, and that is
pass
just
down
batted
the line of
down.
scrimmage. I think that was number 43, Ian Hoffland.
He just had to get rid of that quick.
Yeah, and just excellent job of defensive linemen just putting their hands up and knocking that down.
Bullet from Lozano, too. He might have to check that. Hoffland might have to check
I mean,
the
that
ball
was
with
like
his hand after
a
knocking
big
that.
block in basketball. It just got sent back about 10 yards. 2nd and 10
Cougars get back into the
for
huddle
the
now.
Cougars. Trying to get a win here on homecoming. These teams have not met since the early 80s.
you get 0 yards on 1st down. You're already behind a little bit.
Lozano.
And Lozano
It's going
under
to go to
center.
High
Gives the
Tink.
fullback High-Tink.
He's going to
High-Tink's
get near
at
the
40-yard
40-yard line.
Gain of 5. Short gainer right
Where
up
High
the
Tink has
middle,
had
3rd and 5.
just 8 yards in the last 2 games. He has had a much better night tonight.
Give it to High-Tink that time.
Yeah, hasn't had many big runs, but has been effective in just getting nice 3 to 5 yard runs, just moving the ball just a little bit more, trying to get more manageable situations on drives.
And like I said, they have RPO.
Done a good job with the short yardage plays
Usually tell by the linemen if they don't go
for
downfield,
Bloomington North.
usually an RPO.
2 receivers, bottom of your screen.
2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. The receiver on the far
And
left is
Lozano.
Brecker. They look to the
Gonna
right
throw
side
it,
for
gonna
Loftman.
get it to Loftman. It is complete
And it is
to Loftman.
completed as he
That is going to move the chains.
coverage out here from New Albany. Number 4, I think it was Devon
He just did some kind of
can't make
wrap
a stop.
around the neck ballroom dance catch.
Good job by Kay.
Loftman has done an excellent job here on the outside. That's the second really big catch he's had.
36-yard line into New Albany territory.
Good job by Loftman, and now the Cougars into Bulldog territory.
Again, will line up on his own to the right side.
Picking up the
Playing from
slack,
Right hash mark, going right to left here on your radio dial.
and this is
Give is to
High
High-Tink,
Tink,
the fullback.
and he just
He breaks
bowls
a couple
right
of
up the
tackles,
middle
gets
near
into
the
secondary,
25.
and just shy
And
of
that's
the
our
25-yard
big
line.
run by High Tink right there. Huge 8-9 yard gain right there.
26, 27.
Yeah, they give him 9 yards on that carry. 2nd and 1 at the 27.
And this is huge if they can get him. He seems to get going a little bit right now. This could be really huge right now for this offense.
I think he's done a good job. Struggled the last couple weeks. He's had 2 100-yard games this season. This will be Nathan Jenkins. He tries to get outside, and he just keeps fighting, and then finally goes down just past the 25.
Yeah, Jenkins did an excellent job of keeping his balance, using his hand that he didn't have the ball to keep himself up as he was getting that jersey really pulled.
Spotted at the 22.
As they get Jenkins down to the 22, that's a first down for the Cougars. And Cougars knocking down again, knocking on the red zone door again. Trailing by 10.
Loftman at the bottom of the screen.
One-on-one coverage for Loftman. 2 at the top. Lozano going to look his way, but it's a screen, and it's going to be incomplete to Sam Rosinski.
Yeah, that was a very interesting blocking scheme because they literally just let 4 defenders come right through the line to go for the quick short pass on the screen, just wasn't able to execute on it.
So a 2nd and 10 at the 22. Again, Lozano, another nice night for the freshman. Again, thrown into the fire with Friel's offseason foot injuries and has kept the job through week 6. Lozano got to get pressure and then a blind side as New Albany just chased him down.
There was a blindside blitzer that looked like he was going to possibly strip sack Lozano, but that was amazing instincts by him to immediately sense the defender and run right forward, preventing a huge potential turnover.
Gordon Givens, number 55, he's been chasing Lozano all night long for the Bulldogs. At the 23, it's a loss of 1 for Lozano, 3rd and 11.
Shotgun, Heitink split to his right, 4 receivers.
2 top of the screen.
Bloomington North.
Heitink.
And a short
it's just a short gain, going to set up a 4th down.
And there's a late flag.
And a late flag.
False start. I don't know if that's what the call is. I thought somebody on Bloomington North.
And it looks like one of the New Albany players is saying stuff to the official, and they're trying to pull him back. Number 99, Bryce Mumphrey.
Is that what it is?
It's going to be a personal foul.
Personal foul on New Albany.
A little bit of extracurricular activity after the play. Had a stop on 3rd down and shoot themselves right in the foot.
With a 15-yard penalty.
What did they officially gain on the play? Do you know? On the carry?
Not much.
Yeah, I mean, it was still 4th and
That's going to put the ball.
No gain, I guess, but first down after the plus 15.
They're going to put the ball at the 11.
First and 10 now at the.
First and 10 at the 11 now, and you need to score a touchdown here in this drive.
So there is the
in the 3rd. Bloomington North.
1st and 10 at the 11, approaching 4 minutes to go here in quarter number 3. North knocking on the door, down by 10. She mentioned a huge drive. Pitch, Lozano to Jenkins, and he's going to get to the end zone. Touchdown North.
Jenkins scores from 11 yards out on the pitch.
Nathan Jenkins on the pitch from Reese Lozano, and it is a 4-point game.
And that was a very, very risky pitch because there looked to be a defender in there, so he had to kind of push. He had to throw it a little bit extra behind him, and Jenkins was able to adapt to that pitch and then turned on the jets. We got to see kickoff return Jenkins on that play as he went right to the house.
Great job by Nathan Jenkins on the touchdown.
Yeah, we have, it's like short a player. Get somebody out there on the line.
As
They can get down and block.
that's his first rushing touchdown of the season.
3:49 to go here. Bloomington North gets that extra man out on the line.
So Nathan Jenkins
74
stepping up.
Supposed to be in there if he was just
Friel with the extra point. It is up, and it is good.
For,
And that blocked extra point right now is becoming a really big issue right now for the Bulldogs.
ball game. Bloomington
So
North
13 to
trails
10,
by a field
New
goal.
Albany up top as you see the Cougar cheerleaders and the flags
You know, the way the
going
field
across
position
the
works out,
end zone.
You can't ever assume. However,
Getting a great job tonight by our crew. Hard-working women and men behind the scenes. We got Annette Bruner, Nate Allercon on the field, Ethan Tashida, Catherine Jankowski up top, Nadir Noon and Rob Ramsey in the truck. You and I up here in the press box. Again, thank you to all of you for everything that you do behind the scenes. We always appreciate it. So 13 to 10, Bulldogs on top, but the momentum has just shifted.
Yeah, we usually see this a lot. We've seen this many times in our years that we've been doing this, where the team we're covering, they're a little bit behind. They need to get momentum to start the second half, but then unable to get it, and then what was a close game ended up becoming as
Here
Opal.
comes Austin Opal, and he gets to the past the 35 up near, or past the 30 up near the 35. Good return for Austin Opal.
North-south after that lateral movement.
But as I was saying,
You will
that
have it at the 34
we talk about a team being in and that kind of stuff, but they still have work to do. They have to capitalize on it, and they did. North has capitalized. You would have thought that there was a bunch of missed opportunities in that first half, but those haven't really hurt them to this point because they were able to capitalize on those same situations here in the second half.
As we just got an update from Ellisville, Indian Creek just scored 30 to 15. They lead Edgewood 8:25 to go in the fourth. Here is Sutton with the handoff on the end around, and it was stuffed by Charlie Bless on the loss.
And if Sutton, who was their MVP in the first half, gets stuffed in his first play of the second half, and you can definitely feel a change of momentum as their key player from that half unable to make a play right there.
2nd and 11 at the 32.
Shotgun for Clark.
Clark gonna throw it. It is incomplete. Incomplete.
Fumble.
They're gonna say incomplete. That was intended. That was intended for Gummer, but Gummer never possessed it, so it's incomplete.
Yeah, basically, it went right to his chest, and then he got hit from behind and never really was able to hold on to that ball.
3rd and 11.
The
For the
crowd is
Bulldogs.
shaking here in the press box.
Yeah, the stands are shaking here, but there is Opal, and he's going to get near the first down marker, but he's not going to get it as Rosinski just made the stop, brings up a 4th down.
Huge stop. I was just saying, haven't been able to contain Opal. Opal finally gets his first double-digit yard run of the game, but gets stopped just 1 yard short. Rather, 2 yards short.
In this second half for Bloomington North.
That's a
As he gets
really clutch stop.
clutch stop for Bloomington North. 4th and 2. They're going to punt it
for
away.
Dylan
Jenkins
Clark.
standing about the 21.
Not coming after it. He has all kinds of
And
time
it's
to
going to take a
kick.
bounce and go out of bounds about the 33-yard line.
Spotted.
So they get, so Bloomington North gets out of this, and now they have the momentum going here in the final stages of this third quarter with 2:11 to go.
Okay, this entire third quarter has been the Cougars. Has basically been what the Bulldogs did to the Cougars in the first quarter.
So it is a 1st and 10 at the 34. As it's been an entertaining game so far this evening here
Also on the
with
TuneIn
these
radio
two
app
programs.
in all kinds of ways.
This
In
is
motion,
going to
give
be
it to
High
Hightink,
Tink. It was just
trip,
quick,
kinda got the ball
just
in
a
the
very
handoff.
quick handoff to High Tink.
From the 34 to
Looks like
40.
it was a weird. I think it might have been like a weird snap, and he was just trying to like hold on to it, and just it was kind of like a slingshot play almost.
73-yard pickup. Second
That is
down,
a
about 7.
gain of 4 for High Tink. Second and 6, clock still rolling.
Around the country,
As you see, Wrecker bottom of your screen, one-on-one coverage. This is going to be Jenkins. He turns the corner, and he gets out past the 40-yard line.
Jenkins past the 40 to about the 42.
As you know, we've seen in the past Jenkins more of a receiver, but he's become that dual threat as a runner tonight.
And is this, especially with Trueblood out, been able to come in and get a little bit in the running game as well.
As we got a injured New Albany Bulldog on the field. Don't have a number yet, but play has stopped. New Albany located down on the river just across from Louisville, Kentucky. The Bulldogs in the Hoosier Hills Conference, along with Bedford, North Lawrence, Columbus East, Floyd Central, Seymour, Madison, Jeffersonville, Jennings County. They are in sectional 15 with Bedford, North Lawrence, Columbus East, Seymour, Franklin Central. I think that is 99. Looks like that. Looks like Bryce Mumphrey is the injured Bulldog.
Last update, I think I saw Indian Creek started to pull away a little bit from the Mustangs.
New Albany, of course, as we know, the home of Romeo Langford, 2018 Indiana Mr. Basketball, freshman at Indiana University. The Bulldogs fell short in the...
Who will be able to show off at Hoosier Hysteria, presented by Smithville Fiber.
Next Saturday at 4 o'clock in Simon Scott Assembly Hall. And also, of course, Sean East, the other senior, is at a postgraduate school in North Carolina for next year. Bulldogs lost to Warren Central in the semi-state at Seymour. But did you know that New Albany not only a basketball power, but they're a baseball power? Their Little League won the state championship in Indiana this year and made it all the way to the Great Lakes final of the Little League World Series, losing to a team from Michigan. They've been 5-time state Little League champions in 2007, 14, 15, 17, and 18, and they made the Great Lakes final in 3 years, 2007, 14, and 18. So New Albany is a well-rounded sports town. Lozano going deep. It is to Jenkins, complete to the 30-yard line.
Jenkins has really taken the senior here in the second half of his final homecoming game, has really taken it upon himself to be a big playmaker here, as that was an excellent. He just beat his man easily, got wide open for an easy target for Lozano.
In New Albany territory at the 32. Now Lozano, clock under a minute to go. Lozano.
This time it's a
it is going to be Lozano. He's going to keep it. He's going to get knocked down about the 30-yard line.
Held on to it until that last moment, and then decided to keep it himself. Maybe the right idea.
Second down.
30-yard line, gained at about 2.
At the 30, gain of 2.
Down at 8.
Again, momentum shifted to the Cougars, and they're going to roll it. They're going to roll out the clock, and they will take this to go to the fourth quarter. Do not touch that dial. New Albany up 13-10 over Bloomington North. Fourth quarter coming up next here on Smithville TV.
All of our our bowls are just a superfood, thicker smoothie, whether that's acai berry. We have what's called pitaya in a couple of our bowls, which is a really vibrant pink color. And then we chop up strawberries, bananas, blueberries, and they drizzle with honey. A couple of our bowls have peanut butter drizzled on top, dark chocolate bites. So every bowl is a little bit unique in its own way, but it's really just straight fruit and granola in a bowl. During the summertime, we're open Friday, Saturday. We're here from 10 to 3, and then Sunday, we're here from 9 o'clock to 1:30.
As we welcome you back to Dennis O. Martin Memorial Field here on the north side of Bloomington, the Cougars
35-14 halftime.
on the move,
35-14 half.
trailing New Albany 13-10 as we start quarter number 4. Glad you could join us for North Cougar football on Smithville TV alongside Quinn Saturday. I am Nick Jenkinson, and Quinn, as again, it was 13-3 at halftime, and the momentum has shifted with Bloomington North driving again.
Basically, the first quarter that New Albany had was repeated by Bloomington North in the third quarter, complete with Nathan Jenkins doing a Colin Sutton impression of dominating in the run and the receiving game.
As we switch in, 2nd and 8 at the 30 as we start the 4th and final quarter.
On the other side, now going
Here
left to right
is
here.
Lozano,
Back.
gonna throw it deep, got Jenkins, and it is incomplete.
Jenkins incomplete.
Double
That was
coverage.
a tough throw made by Lozano.
Jenkins a little
Even
slow
double
to
coverage,
get up,
but it falls
but man, what a throw. What a play for a throw for Lozano.
Yeah, that was I believe that was across his body as well, showing some real arm strength.
So another opportunity here for the Cougars at the 30.
So Bloomington North will have it 3rd down and
Again, they're
8
Cougars are 1-4 on the year.
on the 30.
New Albany 3-2.
Looking for points here.
Both
Just
teams
coming into the
trying
4th
to
and final
snap
quarter.
losing skids. New Albany lost to Bedford North Lawrence and Columbus East the last 2 weeks by 1 point apiece.
One receiver comes out wide
Bloomington
to the
North's
right.
only win came in week 1 against Greenwood.
So Wrecker out wide to the left. Comes in
Here is
slot.
Lozano. This is Jenkins. He's got wide open to the 10. Inside the 5 for Nathan Jenkins. He had all sorts of room for Nathan Jenkins.
Jenkins has taken over here in this second half. As I mentioned, doing a Colin Sutton impression, surpassing Colin Sutton right now with another huge play. And right now we're in 1st and goal right here with a chance to take the lead for the first time in the game for North.
26-yard completion to Jenkins. As you said, taking over 1st and goal at the 4. Lozano under center.
Over the goal line, man in motion.
Gives it to Hightink, and he barrels his way to the end zone for the touchdown.
From 4 yards out.
Ben Hightink, who has got his 5th touchdown of the season.
I was mentioning Hightink getting that nice 3 to 5 yard range, getting within 3 to 5 yards, especially with how much attention has been placed on Jenkins and in the pass game. He's been doing a change of pace. There's nothing wrong with being that because you just got the go-ahead touchdown.
And now the Cougars ahead by 3 as Friel attempts the extra point.
Ben Friel out to kick the extra point. 2 different passing plays of 26 yards on that drive.
There it is, Friel. It is up, and it is good. And it is now 17-13.
And I don't want to keep beating a dead horse here, but that missed extra point is really huge right now because instead of a field goal to tie the game right now, they are 4 point. They would need a touchdown here.
As the Bloomington North cheerleaders celebrating with the backflips in the end zone. Again, the cheerleaders a lot to celebrate tonight here on homecoming, as they had the future Cougars cheerleaders, the little girls, down there with them earlier in the to start the game. So they're trying to make it a happy homecoming. As again, with 2:41 left, Indian Creek up on Edgewood 30-15. Over there in Ellettsville. So it looks like Indian Creek's going to take the lead on division. Looming is Cascade next week for Indian Creek.
But right now, as we get the kick return,
there is the kick return. This is Gummer, and he spins his way, and it looks like the ball's loose.
Was he down? I think they're going to say he's down by contact.
And they're going to rule him down.
And Bloomington North should know that momentum isn't everything right now, because this is kind of the situation that New Albany was in the second quarter before the Cougars were able to take some of it back and get back to this game. They know that it just takes one drive right now, and they need to get their defense out here and make sure that they shut down. They don't let Opal get that big run. They don't let Gummer get loose, and that they are able to contain Clark and make him run around, not let him get his feet set.
So it is Clark in the shotgun, Sutton in motion. It's going to be Opal with the handoff, and he gets stuffed. And that is Charlie Bless. And I'll tell you what, Charlie Bless tonight defensively has stepped up.
Yeah, he has been awesome in this game. I believe that's his third tackle for loss in this game.
His father is, of course, Scott Bless, the head coach. So a great night for Charlie on defense. Loss of 3. Ball at 25. There is going to be Clark over the middle to Sutton, complete first down for New Albany.
We're basically going to get Sutton. This game is probably going to end with just Sutton and Jenkins just having a skill competition off, probably.
And you talked about it earlier, how Sutton, was the kind of the guy to watch. Gummer's the main receiver, but Sutton's the number 2, and he's had a big night tonight, both running and receiving. This is Opal, and he gets just near midfield.
Opal only with like 50, I believe, like maybe around 60 yards. His season low is 94. Just to put that in perspective, the Cougars have done an excellent job in containing him.
136 yards on the season. He's had a big night tonight. Got a final from Edgewood. Indian Creek wins 30-15.
As this is Opal, and he gets right to the 50. It's going to bring up a third down. With no run, with no gain.
Cougars, big third down.
So a big third down here for Bloomington North. Approaching 9.5 to go. And this is Opal. It's going to be the reverse, and he gets to the 45, and now he's knocked out of bounds. That is number 12, Keandre Winford, just a freshman for New Albany. Put the ball at the 50.
So he only gained a yard on that officially, Brent. Seemed like a lot more.
And it's a 4th and 5.
Yeah, from midfield too. It's 3 timeouts for both sides, so logically you think, well, just punt it away, get them cornered down, but momentum is so much on North side right now that they need to go for it.
They are going for it here, and it is a loud atmosphere, and New Albany calls a timeout. And the Cougar defense getting the crowd fired up. Do have a final from Ellettsville, 30-15. Indian Creek wins the game. So now Indian Creek gets a hold on that division. Cascade a big winner over Owen Valley. So next week, Cascade and Indian Creek, a huge matchup. Winner in control of that division of the WIC East.
And for Edgewood, they can still get back in it if Cascade does beat Indian Creek.
Yes, Cascade at Edgewood. That will be our next game Friday, October 5th, 7 o'clock. As the Mustangs fall tonight to 4-2. Both teams are 4-2 going into next week. Edgewood now has another trophy game next Friday night at Brown County, the annual Hoof and Talon Trophy against the Eagles. 4th and 5 at the 50. New Albany going for it.
9:17 to go. New Albany will spread them out. They do put a man in the backfield.
Here is Clark gonna roll. Avoids the tackle, and he is not going to get it. He's going to get stuffed at midfield, and it's going to be a turnover on downs. And Charlie Bless, the coach's son, makes that stop. So it is a turnover on downs, and Bloomington North in control with 9:07 to go, and that north sideline is fired up.
Bloomington North takes over 1st and 10 from the 50.
Yeah, momentum right now is a runaway train right now, and it is the Bloomington North Express.
Leading
Now
with the ball.
it is, again, 1st and 10 right at midfield for the Cougars.
On homecoming night.
Just one receiver. Brzezinski in motion. Lozano. And that is complete to Loffman. And he has a stiff arm and he gets near the 40.
You can just feel the confidence right now from Bloomington North, feeling like they can. There's no second guessing or tentativeness. They are just going full forward. Like I said, like a runaway express train.
8-yard gain for Loffman. They're actually going to give him 9 yards.
Yeah, he had a big stiff arm.
Puts the ball at the 41.
A couple extra yards. Cougars bunch it up.
2nd and 1 here.
It's
going to be high tink. It's a first down as he gets down to the 35-yard line.
And you also got to think that going back to the beginning of this game, when New Albany didn't have a lot of time to stretch, whether or not they're becoming fatigued because they didn't get as much properly stretching because they were late to the game.
Late. The game delayed 10 minutes because New Albany did not arrive until after almost like 6:20, or game delayed about 10 minutes because New Albany got here late. Got off to a good start, but it's been all Bloomington North here in the second half.
Here's man in motion.
Lozano, just kind of a screen pass, and it's incomplete, intended for a record.
Right there, the officials did signal it being incomplete, but that was close to being a lateral. It was.
So a 2nd and 10 at the 36.
The defender basically pushed back the offensive lineman, which caused him to hit his arm when throwing the pass. They did mention that it was a forward pass, though, but it wouldn't have mattered because Bloomington North did end up getting the ball anyway.
It is a 2nd and
on the clock. 2nd and 10.
2nd and 10 here. Just under 8 to go in the 4th.
Snap under center for Lozano. They give
High
it to
tink.
Again,
kind of that quick give
about 3 yards
for High Tink.
3rd down and
But he is,
7.
again, he's had a lot of positives tonight after 2 very rough games.
5, 670
3rd and 7 at the 33.
52 yards so far, but he only had 18 in the first half.
He's been the main ball carrier this season for
Gets it
Bloomington
down
North.
to
Coming
the
into the ball game, Ben Heiting, 51 carries,
33.
372 yards. Last week, just 2 carries, Brent, for no yards.
Again, approaching 7 to go.
37 from the 33.
North just trying
Wrecker
to
at the
chew.
top on 1-on-1 coverage.
Loffman down here at the bottom. There is Jenkins. Leapfrogs a guy inside the 20. Athletic as can be, Nathan Jenkins leapfrogs a guy. Signed him up for the hurdles in the spring. And that's a first down for the Cougars.
As I said, they literally. That's one way to jumpstart your run game. Get everyone involved.
And he has had a huge night. 13-yard gain for Jenkins. And that puts North right there on the 20. Cougars in the red zone.
His all-purpose yards will be well tonight.
And this is Lozano, and then he gets knocked down at the 25. Gavin Perkins with the stop for New Albany.
Loss of 4. Not sure if that was a busted play or he just pulled that one away.
That's going to put a loss of 4 for Lozano. It's going to put him at the 23.
Lost his footing. Probably would have been better if he just fell down there because that was quite a hit he took.
He took too big a shot.
Looks like they're marked him at the 23, so a loss of 3. But again, clock is rolling under 6.
Reminder that there is 2 timeouts for New Albany, 3 for North.
Still not an opportunity for either one to really need
As it is going to be the pitch to Rosinski, and he's going to get taken down at the 30. So this will bring up a 3rd down for Bloomington North. Rosinski struggles.
Third and 20 from the 30. No, they're going to give him forward progress. I thought he might
They're going to get him to the 27. Loss of 4.
From the 27-yard line, so loss of 4 instead of 7.
But
still a big
again,
loss.
New Albany's, they have come after the run game of Bloomington North. They have really made a lot of stops tonight. They just,
Ben Friel, I know he's missed one from
And
about 41
I mentioned that right now is going to be with 3rd and 17. You're going to want to try to get within kicking range so that you can make this a 7-point game.
and Scott Bless calls a timeout with the 1 second on the play clock. Kind of called that strategic timeout. 4:53 to go here in this game. 17-13 Bloomington North on top. Once again, we want to thank our crew, the hardworking women and men behind the scenes. Tonight we've got Annette Werner, Nate Alarcon on the cameras. Down on the field, Catherine Jankowski and Ethan Tashida up top. Nadir Noon, Rob Ramsey in the truck. You and I in the press box. Again, thank you to all of you for everything that you do to bring you the sights and sounds of high school football throughout this season. And don't forget, basketball season is coming up. I know that you and I are both excited for basketball season, as we will have both Bloomington North and Edgewood basketball this season. Edgewood girls have a new coach. Kurt Simic takes over for Gary Sims, longtime assistant coach at both Bloomington North and has been at Edgewood the last couple of years. And of course, we got a lot of excitement coming up here with basketball season, but we got to get through football first, as we still got a couple more weeks. Here's Lozano. He's going to run, and he gets past the 25 down to about the 23.
And a huge shoestring tackle as well, because Lozano could have gotten the first down on the ground right there.
As Givens, that Corn Givens, 55, has done a great job. He saves that, kind of saves that big run. And that was
after a 5-yard pickup for Lozano. Ball's at the 22. 40-yard attempt.
Gets him to the 22.
Right hash mark.
So 5-yard gain. Here's Friel, and it's blocked.
The kickoff, it's blocked.
And Friel picks it up, and he's going to get it to the 15.
That's called making the best out of a terrible situation. At least he was able to push him, even though he was unable to get the field goal, he was able to at least push him back so that it's a much larger field for New Albany to have to traverse.
He does not get the first down. It will be New Albany's Paul turnover on downs. But a huge stop for New Albany, as Friel actually picked it up and got 4 yards. But it's a 1st and 10 at the 18 for the Bulldogs.
Have not scored in this second half. Cougars 14 straight points in this second
Clark,
half to take the lead.
it will give it to Opal, and he's going to get past the 20-yard line, and the Cougars wrap him up. Brings up a 2nd down. There's an injury. As an injury on the field.
That was Opal on the carry.
As you see the training staff out.
5 after the 5-yard pickup.
Bloomington North. Not sure who that is.
Let's go ahead and take a 60-second timeout. Kyle, if you got a 60-second ready for me. We'll take a 60-second timeout, come back after this injury.
Got 3:52 to go here. The Cougars up 17-13. Great shot by our crew. As he is now up, and that is 44 for Bloomington North. That is Hunter Rodenball, the junior. getting helped off the field. Looks like he's going to. Looks like he's shaking up a little bit of a knee injury there, but he's going to walk off under his own power, so that's a good sign. 2nd and 5 at the 23. So gain of 5 for Opal. But this, again, this high-powered New Albany offense shut down here in the second half. No points in the second half for the Bulldogs so far.
Watch out for Sutton in the slot.
And there is Clark. He's got to go on the run, and he gets tripped up at the 15. Big stop by Bloomington North.
And I mentioned in the first half that it feels like Clark is an excellent passer when he has time and is able to stand and get his feet set. But on the run, he does panic a little bit under pressure, and that has been the bread and butter of this defense. They have pressured him all night long.
3rd and 12 at the 16, loss of 7. Clark gonna have to take off now, gonna throw it. Reverses field, caught to Gummer, and he is stopped at the 15. A whole host of Cougars led by Sam Rosinski on that stop.
And New Albany will have to punt deep in their own
And New Albany is
territory.
going to have to
Ball
punt.
sitting at the 17-yard line. Maybe the
Where
18.
Bloomington North was not able to get stops in this first half, they've been able to get them here in the second.
And New Albany will
So a
punt.
loss of 1 for, or just a gain of 1 for Gummer.
Their punter
4th and
their
11.
punter is also their quarterback, Dylan
And this is
Clark.
going to give Bloomington North excellent field position. Again, both teams 2 timeouts remaining as well.
Clark, I think,
But they're actually going to go for it.
back in a punting
They're going to
distance.
go for it.
Down by 4, 220. Here's
And here is
Rolling
Clark,
goes right.
going to roll.
Rolling, still
Got to
looking
find it,
throw,
going to go
fires
deep.
down the sideline.
And that is out of
Incomplete.
bounds, and Bloomington
Goes
North
out
is
of
going to
bounds.
take over.
Bloomington North
That was
forced
intended
to
for
throw
Gummer,
on
and
down
look
to
who's
the
on the
6
coverage with that, Ben Friel.
Bloomington North down
Number
deep in
11.
territory. They can feel the victory.
So incomplete, out of bounds.
Here's the thing about that pass. If there was, if the sideline wasn't there, that would have been a completed pass to Governor. If that was moved more to the center of the field, that would have probably been a completed pass, but they just ran out of space.
Ran out of space. Clark has had to go on the run a lot.
And as I mentioned, that has been his weakness in this game.
Absolutely. As it's a 1st and 10 at the 17. Just approaching 2 minutes. This is Lozano, and he gets inside the 10.
DeAndre Stroud gets it to the 10-yard line.
So Lozano gets to the
2nd down and 3. Clock
10.
blind.
And this is huge because they need to finish this with a touchdown, because if they're forced into a field goal, then this is still a one-possession game.
Point or ball on the 10. A
play clock
four-point
is
ball
at
game.
20. Lozano gets the
And
call.
interesting that New Albany didn't call for a
New Albany
timeout.
still has 2
They're just gonna let this
timeouts.
wind down.
Are you
Bloomington
surprised they're
North
not letting them
comes into the huddle.
call a timeout
Break
right
the huddle
now?
with just 10
Because the
seconds,
play
so
clock,
smart
play clock
using
is
all
down
of
to
the
7.
clock here. 4, 3, 2. There's
And
the
that's the
snap.
handoff to Hightink. Hightink pushing his way toward the goal line. He's short.
Just short of the goal line.
And that is going to be a 1st down for Ben Hightink.
We talked about
The clock will stop momentarily.
Opal carrying players. Hightink was doing that right there. Just carry. Literally, people were just holding on to his jersey for dear life.
As New Albany does call a timeout, Hightink gets the 1st down. It's going to be a 1st and goal at the 2.
Bloomington North runs the ball. Bloomington North runs the ball here. New Albany calls it
So we're
quick timeout.
17 to 13, a minute 21 to go here in the 4th quarter. Been a very exciting game. What I thought would be a high-scoring game, not quite. Been a just kind of a war of attrition tonight. Both teams with a lot of big, long drives, sustained drives, and Bloomington North has had the momentum here, down 13 to 3 at halftime, has come back and outscored them 14 to nothing in the second half.
Yeah, and this is really huge because it might it looks like it might just come down to Bloomington North being able to hold on to the ball.
Just hold on to the ball, Brad. They just got to run 2 more plays, and they will come out victorious.
So one timeout for New Albany.
No doubt.
First and
Lozano
goal
under center.
at the 2.
And in motion,
It's
gives it to
high
High
tink,
Tink comes up short of the goal
and
line.
he is short.
Gets to about the
they're
1
gonna
yard
call
line.
the-
Give him a gain
New Albany will call the
Second down and
timeout.
goal.
They will
And
call
the
their
timeout
final
does come from New
timeout,
Albany with 1:16 to go.
and this will be a second and goal at the 1.
So again, ball on second down.
So 1:16 to go, 17 to 13. Again, these two schools have not played each other since the early 80s. They did scrimmage each other a few years ago.
Again, calling plays from the sideline tonight has been up in
I would assume there will be a return match next year down in New Albany.
that we have done here from Bloomington North. Don't know where he called it from last week against Terre Haute, but
But
he'll
it's
be down
a,
there again next week if they get the win.
Big one for Bloomington North here, trying to be a happy homecoming 2018 here for the Cougars.
And continue a 3-game losing streak for
Second
New Albany.
and
I think we
goal.
might see a QB sneak here.
Have lost a couple in a row.
As
Trying to end theirs. Here's
Lozano is going to get into the end zone for the North touchdown. And that will be all she wrote for Bloomington North. Lozano's 3rd touchdown run of the year.
I love the fake on that, where he just kind of like tiptoed to the side, and then as soon as he saw that there was no one in front of him, he couldn't keep up the charade any longer and had to run right in there.
So a big run for Reese Lozano, and that's going to seal the deal. And now it's Ben Friel, the homecoming king, on for the extra point. He was crowned at halftime, and it is up and good. So 24 to 13.
21 unanswered points.
Yeah, 21 unanswered points for Bloomington North here in the second half. And they're going to snap a 4-game losing streak going into next week. Remaining schedules for both teams: for Bloomington North at Roncalli, at Columbus North, and Southport to close it out here in week 9. That's a tough schedule. Those are all 3 tough teams. For New Albany, at Jeffersonville, Seymour at home, and then at Floyd Central. So both teams are Class 5A. Bloomington North in 14, sectional 14, New Albany in sectional 15. The sectional draw comes up October the 7th. So these teams will know here in a couple weeks who they will be playing here in a few weeks. 9 weeks in the regular season, we are at week 6 already.
It's a long bus ride regardless, but yeah.
But homecoming a couple weeks ago for Edgewood with a big thumping of Owen Valley. Now homecoming for Bloomington North with a big win against New Albany. And it's a squib kick, going to get to the about 12-yard line. And this is number 2, and then there's a hit out of bounds. And that is Detroit Payton with the return.
And so New Albany has
Bloomington North just 2 timeouts left. Of course, I doubt that they use them.
Well,
At this
let's
point,
let's
although
not
you
call the game over yet. We know that Gummer has had a bunch of huge plays this season.
And don't forget Sutton, too. I mean, Sutton's been a threat all night long as well, so it's not over just yet.
That you want to win, Brent. Bloomington South is one. They weren't able to get that done this year. Homecoming night might be the second.
So they can't celebrate early yet. They need to stop them, because 104 is still enough time to score and then get an onside kick and score again.
Very true. As Clark in the shotgun, he's going to drop back. There's pressure. He's going to throw it complete to Gummer, and he's going to get down at the 44.
And also a thing in high school as in college, the clock stops when it becomes a first down, so that gives them a little extra time.
He's going to get to the 43.
And there's the start the clock. Here's the throw.
There is Clark going to throw it. Warzinski hits him out of hits him.
Stop the clock. Pass was caught that time.
Looks like, I think 13 on that
Malachi
was Malachi Peters.
First and 10 again.
That puts him in
Now
Bloomington
46
North
yard
territory.
line, North territory.
First and 10 at the 46. 45.5.
Spreads out, 3 receivers for New Albany.
They're going to
1 man in
spread
the
it out.
backfield. Here's the drop. Clark.
Going to play
Stepping over the
action,
pocket,
and
nowhere
then
to
he's
go.
going to
Ball
get
is
knocked.
loose on
Ball's
the curve.
loose,
Bloomington North picks it up.
and North
And they are gonna
recovers,
win
and
it.
this is
Bloomington
all
North
she
forces a
wrote.
fumble with
North
38
forces
points,
the fumble.
38 seconds remaining in the ballgame, and the Cougars are going to get
And
a
this
win
is
on
gonna be
homecoming
it.
night. All they need is
huge,
one final victory
huge
formation.
turnover because
What a
looked like
win for the Cougars.
it looked like New Albany was starting to get a little bit of momentum there, be able to score. I mean, probably would have liked to now had so much time off, but looked like they were moving the ball. Excellent turnover.
And this will be a victory formation and a 4-game losing streak. And then it will be a happy homecoming, and that will do it as Bloomington North is going to win. What a performance. 17 unanswered or 21 unanswered points in this second half.
And it's all thanks to Nathan Jenkins.
As we're going to look at the highlights, and you talk about Nathan Jenkins, and there he is with the big time performance. Reese Lozano continues to mature, continues to get better as the weeks go on, and there is Jenkins just moving all over the place, doing a great job. And then here is the pitch to Jenkins, and he gets to the end zone with the touchdown. Lozano, the big play to Jenkins into New Albany territory. Lozano, I mean, he's just, just a freshman, but he's the future. And there is Jenkins getting down inside the 5. And then the high tink run for a touchdown. Ben Friel, thing blocked, and then he just picks it up. Can't get the first down, but he's had a big night. Homecoming king, as Bloomington North wins 24-13 over New Albany. For all the hardworking women and men behind the scenes, for Quinn Saturday, I am Nick Jenkinson. Good night from Bloomington North.
What a game.